But what about other members of Congress accused of crimes? Senator John Fetterman thinks Democrats will look like hypocrites if they don't boot out his fellow colleague, indicted New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez.
We have a colleague in the Senate that actually did much more sinister and serious kinds of things. Senator Menendez, he needs to go. And if you are going to expel Santos, how can you allow to somebody like Menendez to remain in the Senate? And, you know, Santos's kind of lies were almost, funny. And like, he, landed on the moon and that kind of stuff. Whereas, I think, Menendez, I think, is really a senator for Egypt, not New Jersey.
I mean, what is happening in the world?
Well, I got to tell you, at least Fetterman's putting some sentences together. That's a good thing.
The whole body double thing may have happened. That was a coherent, smart answer.
We agree.
From John Fetterman.
I mean, as a Harvard-educated senator, you guys be
Hey, no, and for real, it sounds like he's getting better, and good for him. He's getting his ability to speak
We're
back.
complimenting a Democrat, okay? When's the last time you complimented a Republican?
in the last segment.
All right, so, I'll go to you, Will, since you started. All right, Santos hasn't been convicted of a crime.
Right.
What are we doing here?
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So you guys already know that George Santos has been removed from Congress, right? But a lot of people, they aren't even sure why. And essentially, it was a misuse of campaign funds, lying to Congress during their ethics investigation, and more importantly than all of it, lying to his voters. And obviously, the guy is facing federal charges, right? And if you read the 23-count indictment, it's without a doubt, it's pretty interesting stuff. And there certainly are crimes, right? But if you're inclined to, play the what about game, they're nothing compared to the allegations against Gold Bar Bob and even allegations against some of the Bidens. And anyway, in any case, the man has committed crimes, right? And he has been charged with crimes, but he has not been found guilty of anything. And am I saying he's a good guy? No, I'm not. Am I saying he's a good candidate for Congress? Absolutely not. I'm not even saying that he's probably innocent, right? I'm not saying any of that. The guy is probably guilty of at least some of the crimes he's charged with, but that's just it. They're just allegations. They're just charges, and weak-ass Republicans, I'm sure many of whom have their own campaign finance skeletons for sure, without a doubt, they voted alongside the Democrats in a very, very typical one-way show of unity and bipartisanship. And they've created, in doing this, they've created a new precedent that, without a doubt, 100% is going to get used against Republicans by at least 20-1. Honestly, we should start the tally now, because Republicans are going to be removed from Congress in the future based on allegations and not convictions. All the left is going to have to do is fabricate or fictionalize some charges and then let their friends in the media, their friends in the DOJ just do the rest. And if you're looking for a proof of concept, look no further than the Steele dossier. Completely fake. People still believe it. Careers were ruined. Lives were changed because of that. So anyway, apparently I'm not the only person who thinks that there's something fishy going on here. Somehow, I have found myself on the same side of an issue as John Fetterman, who really honestly is sounding a lot better, guys. Thankfully, the guy is sounding better. And, basically, he goes on The View to call his fellow Democrats hypocritical and wonder with the ladies, the fine ladies of The View, on why there isn't the same kind of push to expel Gold Bar Bob Menendez as there was for George Santos. Pretty amazing when you actually hear a Democrat calling it like some of the rest of us actually see it.
And you've also been calling to get rid of Menendez, I know. But first, before we talk about that, what's your reaction to the expulsion?
Well, it's like I'm not surprised, but to me, I think the more important picture is that we have a colleague in the Senate that actually did much more sinister and serious kinds of things. Senator Menendez, he needs to go. And if you are going to expel Santos, how can you allow to somebody like Menendez to remain in the Senate? And Santos's kind of lies were almost funny, and like he landed on the moon and that kind of stuff. Whereas, I think, Menendez, I think, is really a senator for Egypt, not New Jersey. So I really think he needs to go. And especially, it's kind of strange that if Santos is not allowed to remain in the House, someone like that. Yeah.
Are you, though, uncomfortable with the fact that there hasn't been an adjudication, that while he's been charged, there hasn't been a conviction? With Menendez.
I am. And it's like he has the right for his day in court and all that, but he doesn't have the right to have those kind of votes and things that's not a right. And I think we need to make that kind of decision to send him out.
Yeah, so you guys see that. And, we've seen a lot of pretty bad things come out of Fetterman's time in Washington. The one that always sticks in my head, that really, really, truly embarrassing joint press conference that he had with Joe Biden after the Pennsylvania bridge collapse, that was bad. That was elder abuse, special needs abuse, every kind of abuse you could imagine, all right there at the podium. But honestly, it's really, really good to see the guy looking and sounding better, completing sentences, explaining actual coherent thoughts, and most importantly, thinking for himself. And it almost feels like the closer his brain gets to becoming a healthy, functioning human brain, the closer he's actually coming to sounding and acting like a Republican. And all he's really talking about is hypocrisy. And it really, really is hypocritical to leave a person like Goldbar Bob Menendez in office while moving literally every lever of power in government that you can to get rid of someone like Santos. It is just plain hypocritical. And just as hypocritical, Joy Behar asking him whether it concerns him removing Goldbar Bob before he's found guilty in the very same segment that's literally about the removal of a Republican that she wasn't at all concerned about just a few minutes earlier. It's insane. It's insane. It's typical, but it's insane. Now, my view, no one should be removed pending unproven allegations. I'm with Fetterman when he says that we should be consistent and treat everybody the same. But my feeling is that Santos should have been treated more like Menendez and not the other way around. Removing people from anything based on just allegations, that should never happen, guys. People should be removed from office by their voters and not by the government. Because here's the truth. It's not going to happen to Bob. This will only happen and will only be used against Republicans. And here's what will happen. There's going to be a special election on Long Island. And the Democrats, they're going to be running commercials about how corrupt Republicans are. Santos's face is going to be everywhere. It's going to be all over every commercial. And only about 1 in 20 voters is going to remember that Republicans took the high road and joined in bipartisan unity with Democrats to root out corruption. That's just not going to happen. The only people that ever care or will ever mention anything about a Republican high road are going to be the people on MSNBC who for 15 seconds want to pretend that they're also on the high road and they're also nonpartisan themselves. But Republicans, guys, they keep falling into this trap. They keep tricking themselves because honestly, when it comes down to it, Republicans are not prepared to make hard decisions. They are not prepared to defend their positions, especially the difficult ones, unless they think their position is perfect. They don't even want to talk about it. And it's amazing when you think about it. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.